Okay, we are now joined by the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion, and that is Kyle Larson. We'll get right to questions for Kyle. We'll start up here to Holly and then work around the room. So if we could bring up Mike to Holly, that'd be great.
Congratulations, Kyle. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I asked Jeff and Mr. Hendrick this question, but on that last restart, when you saw where you started and you knew where Denny was this the moment you said, I got this?
Never did I feel like I had it, but when I was honestly surprised people had stayed out. I thought I was going to line up on the front row with Ryan, and I was like, okay, this is going to be good. He's going to choose the bottom. I know what to expect in the one with grip. And then when they said, a few of them stayed out, I was like, oh no, this is not good. But I was able to line up behind Alex and just run really hard through 1 and 2 and get the clean air I needed. And I thought my hope was that Denny was not gonna get a great 1 and 2, but I thought with 4 fresh tires he might get through there well, and we might be side by side. I thought that's how it kind of would net out off of 2, and I got a better 1 and 2 than I expected, and then for a bit I thought I was gonna win, and they were going kind of crazy on the radio. My spotter was, and telling me that the 11 was kind of jammed up back there, and I was going to be committed to the outside lane. I felt like that was going to be my best opportunity to find clean air and maintain momentum, and I was just kind of trying not to crash there at the end. But I still wanted to win really bad. It's been a while, so I was trying what I could to win the race. But we did what we had to do to win the championship, and just insane circumstances to get us to this point. Mm-hmm.
Go up to Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. You said insane circumstances. So what's it like to win a championship under insane circumstances?
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know. I mean, did anybody in here think that we had a shot? Like, I definitely, like Cliff was saying, we weren't dead, but we were pretty close. The final stage was just, not going how we needed it to. I didn't feel great about my car, but I thought my team was doing a good job to keep me in striking distance for if we had a caution, we could get a good pit stop and make it work and hopefully, have a shot that way. But we had whatever happened on that one pit stop, and we lined up 18th. And from then on, I was just like, this is going to be near impossible to beat these guys. The 11 was, by far the best car. I thought him and the 12 were really good, but I thought out of the 4 of us, the 11 was by far the best. And I'm much further behind them. And then that same run, I had the right front go down, and just knew I was going to lose 1 lap, hoping it was going to time out where I didn't lose 2 laps, and thankfully that was the case. And then we got a caution, and thankfully with just 1.5 laps or so on my tires, and we were able to do the wave around, and then it was at a kind of slight disadvantage on tires, so I wasn't able to make my way forward very well. And then we got a caution with however many to go, 30-something to go, and we decided to take rights, and I was like, oh boy, this is I wasn't expecting that. As I turned in the stall, he said we were doing right sides. I was like, oh man, we'll see here. And then the grip was much better than I thought it was going to be on those right sides, and was able to maintain in 5th, and I was like, all right, we're back in it here. If we get another late caution, maybe we might take 2 tires, or if we take 4, we can have a good stop. I know we can do it. I've done it before, gaining 4 spots and winning a championship. So, but when that unfortunate break for William came out, caution, Cliff and I were on the same page about right sides, and just kind of knew what to expect with the grip, from having 1 go at it already.
And with potential change in formats and Homestead being part of likely, obviously championship race, probably part of whatever the last few races will be, if that's the format, do you feel like things could be more in your wheelhouse for more titles?
You never know. Right now I don't even know the format, so. But yeah, I think it would be a little bit more in my favor. I think it would be a little bit more in everybody's favor, honestly. I think we would all take multiple races rather than just one, because a lot can happen in one, obviously, So thankfully we were on the right end of it tonight, but it could easily have been the other way around, like, what happened to Denny. So, but yeah, I think, if it's a single race, sure, I feel better about it at Homestead. If it's multiple races, I feel better about that. Any track, you could throw any tracks in the, whatever it might be, 10 or 4 or 36, and I would feel better. My chances better, but yeah, we'll see. But I'm just soaking this in right now and still trying to figure out how it all happened.
Go to John, then Dustin, Kelly.
John Newby fan, but ask Cliff this, and I'll ask you as well. When I was talking to Joey after the race, I asked him what it meant to have you in the multi-time champions club and just your team in general. And he said that you guys obviously are a great team, you're a great driver, and then whenever you're down and out, you still come back and win the championship. So I was curious to know, what does that mean hearing another champion talk about how even when you're blowing a tire, he still expects you to come back and win the title?
Well, it feels cool because I don't think there's any team better at it than Joey's and the 22 team. And this playoff for us was as Joey Logano as it gets, maybe not being the fastest, but our team, getting us through it all and then ultimately getting us to the championship. So it feels amazing to join him as well as the other multi-time champions. And I'm really excited. I think one of the most special things, probably the most special thing about being a champion is getting that book. And I'm grateful to get my hands on it again and get to see what was written in the few years since I have won. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty neat. And he's a great champion, and hopefully I can carry myself as a great multi-time champion as well.
Go to Dustin.
Dustin, let me know, JC. Kyle, we were kind of talking about this on Thursday, but now that you have accomplished this feat, what do you feel like a second championship does for your legacy?
I don't know. I still don't know. I don't think any of us foresaw us getting a second championship in the fashion that we did today, so that probably makes it seem even different. But nonetheless, we're on the list 2 times, and that's something to be proud of. So, but as far as for legacy, I really don't put a whole lot of thought into that yet. Like I've mentioned many times before, I think it's just really hard to think about that sort of thing right now as you're still competing and plan to compete for quite a while. So, we're still going to try and go out there and win more races, and the legacy will kind of take care of itself, as we approach that. Thank you.
Come up here to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You got to drive your kids to victory lane. Denny Hamlin was greeted by his daughters in absolute tears. What kind of empathy can you have or do you have for him? And whenever you talk to him, what do you say to him after today?
Yeah, no, I definitely have a lot of empathy for him, and I said it, I think, in the interview I did on the stage that, it's great to celebrate and all that, but it does feel a little awkward, because he has put so much time and energy and has been so close to winning so many championships, and this is as close as he's ever been. And, he's a competitor, but he is a friend, and I was going to be happy, for him to win. That's kind of what I was thinking about. Like, man, I can't wait to go tell him good job. And then the caution came out, and it all kind of the script flipped, right there. So, yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen an interview. I haven't seen the moments that I'm sure he had with his family and shared that with his daughters. But yeah, no, sure, I'm happy, but there's definitely a piece of me that is sad for him as well. I'm sure all of us in here, and even the Denny haters, I'm sure, they're probably, there's a spot, where they're sad too. So, but that's competition, that's the format, and it's just weird, so, but yeah, I still hope someday he can get to feel what it's like.
Go to Dominic and then Kelly.
Dominic Ottogona with the Racing Experts. Of course, the awards banquet's Tuesday, but outside of that, have you been briefed at all or been told about what your public champions schedule's going to look like, trip to New York, etc.? What does all that look like at this time?
Yeah, so it starts early tomorrow, so that's scary. But yeah, I think it's early tomorrow. I know that. So I don't know how long tomorrow lasts, but yeah, banquet Tuesday. I'm not really sure what goes on Monday and Tuesday, but I think Wednesday we go Chicago. Am I not supposed to talk about it? Oh, Indy? Okay.
New York. Then to New York. And then home on Thursday.
And then to Cabo. I'm missing Cabo. So I was supposed to go to Cabo on Wednesday, but now I guess we'll get there Thursday night? All right. With tequila.
And I know it's still fresh, but whenever you look back on this at some point in time, what do you think you're going to remember most about tonight's championship run?
Just, I don't know. It's still so fresh that it's honestly hard to believe that I'm sitting right here talking to you guys after what we went through tonight. And I think that's probably what's going to probably be the thing that I look back on is just how unbelievable today was in the last 40 minutes of the race, for us. So yeah, just incredible and just really proud of my team, proud of Cliff, so proud of Cliff and the work that, he puts in obviously on the race cars and all that, but the work that he puts in on the team and the leadership and himself personally is just amazing. And I think he is the reason why we are champions again.
Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Kyle, I wanted to go back to what Dustin was asking you about your comments about Denny, because you brought that up unprompted in your television interview. I mean, you just win a championship, and instead you're thinking about a guy that you beat. So I was curious why you felt, or what you felt in that moment to even bring him up, and did it feel not like you didn't deserve it, but like were the emotions kind of split there for a second? Because again, you brought that up unprompted about the guy that you just beat.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just, it was all so wild and crazy, and I had all this elation, obviously, because we had just accomplished something that was not on our radar for a lot of it. So I was so happy and thrilled, and celebrated my team on the backstretch, and then went to the front stretch to do my celebrating there and interviews and whatnot. And I got done, and I could see his car and team and him doing interviews, and I was just like, it just kind of hit me like, oh man, like, I can't imagine what he's feeling right now. We've all gone through our own defeats, but I really can't imagine what he's feeling. It's got to be something completely different than I've ever felt before through any of my defeats. And then, yeah, I just, I had another opportunity to give an interview, and I just wanted to let everybody know, how I felt. And again, he's a great competitor. He's a good friend. In 20 years of trying and getting so close, I just, there's definitely a large piece of me that feels, really bad and sad, but at the same point, I'm happy. So it's such a weird feeling, when you don't win the race, you don't lead a lap, you win the championship, you steal it from a guy who's tried, for so long and had it in his fingertips. Like it's a really weird feeling.
We'll go to Jerry next.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. You kind of touched on it a while ago, but you said that you were hesitant about the two-tire call. But I asked Cliff about that earlier, and whether he thought that was a gamble or not. And he gave credit to some of the guys on your crew that were in his ear, he said, and that he knew that he had to make that two-tire call, and then the second one was kind of a no-brainer, and you'd already given him the code. For a guy who had already had issues with tires in the day, did you ever have hesitancy other than that first time? Did you know that was the right call, and has that made the difference?
The first two-tire call, I didn't know if it would be the right call. I didn't have. I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't have as much confidence that time because we had just ran, a long run and I was struggling, and I just, I thought with this softer tire, the lefts maybe were going to be not as strong as what they ended up being. But then when I went through that first, restart and was kind of a ways back from the 19 and just throttled up, and I got back alongside of him and then ultimately passed him. And sure, yeah, I fell back to fifth. Guys on 4 tires had passed me. I was just, I knew if we got another caution under, really give it any laps, that 2 tires was, in my mind, going to be a no-brainer. And I hope that Cliff was thinking the same way. So that's, when the caution came out and I named off the code words, and I was like, come on, say, what you did. And he did. I'm like, all right, cool. We got a shot here. Thanks.
Go in the back here.
Hi, Michelle Aaron with the podium finish. The question was asked earlier about having empathy for those drivers, their families that didn't win. But how special is it that you got to take your kids on that victory lap, especially with Audrey and Owen being old enough to remember that?
Yeah, no, it's great. I gotta obviously have my family here and my kids. They love to celebrate too. And Audrey, it's been a while since I've won, and I'll never forget the first thing she said to me was like, "Dad, you finally won again." And I was like, "Well, kinda," but no. So it's cool, and Cooper wasn't even born yet for our last one, so I can't wait to go take all the photos that we get to after this and update my iPad with him, sitting in the cup. Last time it was Audrey sitting in the cup, so we'll throw him in the cup. But I got a lot of friends here too and family, and I look forward to getting through all this and getting to hang out with them and celebrating because they're all a big piece of it too.
Well, speaking of those photos, he does need to get there, so we have time for 2 more. We'll go to Andrew and then in the back.
Andrew Hazlett, Blaze Radio, over to your right. How does this compare to the first championship now that you've won a second?
Yeah, I think it means every bit as much as the first one, and I thought that's kind of how it would be, but I didn't anticipate obviously winning the championship in the fashion that we did today. So I think that takes it kind of another level up from what I thought it might feel like. But the first championship we had dominated the season, led tons of laps, all of the things that, a champion should do. This year, everything came kind of easy back then. The championship race didn't per se go easy, but the season was going easy. Today, the season has been, a challenge, and then today was way more challenging even than that 2021 victory was. So that just makes it, I think hopefully am fortunate enough to win other championships along the way, but I think each would mean something different, so and keep it equally as special. So this one was such a team win throughout the whole year and all of that I think, I'll never forget it for that, for sure.
And we'll wrap up here in the back.
Right in front of you. Fernando Cruz, Beravisión. If we rewind this movie 2-3 years ago and we put it today, what's the title of this movie? And you already told us what the sentiment, the feelings were around. But when I saw you coming out of that picture lane, that mindset that you were right there putting in your eyes, what it meant. Tell us. I'm curious because I've never been there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at coming up with one-liners and obviously titles to movies. But I don't know. Cliff kept saying we ain't dead yet, so it was hard to believe him. But we weren't dead. So, but no, just again, just an unreal feeling that I hope I'll remember. I hope I'll get to experience again along the way. But just shock, proud, all of the emotions, and sad, also at the same time. So, I just couldn't wait to celebrate with my team because it was such a team team victory, team championship. So, again, just proud of everybody and look forward to hopefully more opportunities along the way.
Well, congratulations, Kyle, and we look forward to celebrating you on Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for all you guys do for our sport and all the hours you put in promoting us. Thank you.